This is a clip of a gymnastics facility in China. This is the Nanning Gymnasium. Now, here you see is a normal day of gymnastics training. Now, you can see that these children are being pushed hard. And now, you can see that they are going through brutal training, as you can see that the coach is forcing them into weird shapes. All these children are being pushed over their limits. Look at their expressions. Do you see the pain on their expression in their faces? Do you see the way the coach just kicked his student? Did you see? Or how the girl was pulled off the beam? How do you feel now? This is what training is like every day in China, in a training facility in gymnastics. Now, gymnastics is an awesome sport. It teaches individual grace and it builds strength. But gymnastic training is too intense. The Chinese method is definitely training their gymnasts too hard, and it's depriving them from their youth. The expectations for a young child is too much for them to accomplish. According to Bill Skiller from Foreign Affairs, sports was created for health and for strength, but now it is harming the body of young athletes. Many athletes now suffer from bone deformation, overexhaustion, and severe illness. Is this the spirit of sports? And is this the meaning of sports for people? Gymnastic stars are known to start early at an early age, and battle to compete for demanding routines and bars and rings or tumbling to become the top competitors in China. So it becomes very stressful for the child to really satisfy their coach because they have such high expectations for these children at such a young age. So how could the young child actually really manage to really exceed these expectations? Now let's look at the views of discipline in the sports of gymnastics. Gymnastics is a sport for flexibility, discipline, and strength and mentality. Chinese officials believe that without beating there is no success. So Matthew Pinson, a German Olympic coach, has experience visiting one of the gymnastics facility centers, and he reports that it was a pretty disturbing experience. It was a pretty disturbing experience, and that he was very shocked of what he saw because it was very intense how these children were being treated, how they were being pushed. And he said that he could accept the Western and Eastern training is different from each other, but at the end of the day he said that he thought that the children were actually being abused, because later on he found evidence that when he was observing a boy, his back was bruised and had marks across his back. So he actually finally confirmed that these children are being beaten. So this proves that the child has been pushed too far and was being abused. See, there is a limit of there's a limit in gymnastics of discipline, where you are being pushed for the benefit of learning how to persevere each time, versus the limit of being abused, where the coach gets really angry and throws his frustrations upon his students because they can't do a skill right in gymnastics. Next, believe it or not, the Chinese Communist Party in China has established a demanding sport training system, allowing children to go through the abuse to train well. And the government in China is actually demanding for more younger children to be a part of their sport opportunities. So Virginia Wu from the Epoch Times reports that other countries might be envious of China's athletes, but the number of sacrifices has been made for the goal is not really quite worth it, because children from the youngest ages of 4 are trained many hours a day and taken away from the family and they are taken away far from their city that they're raised in. And the government is just demanding too much upon these young children to really become a part of, to take an opportunity to become something big. Now, these Chinese child gymnasts go through into brutal training, forcing them into weird shapes and become China's next best gymnast. So how do you feel now when you remember seeing the child's faces in pain, and how you saw the coach twisting their bodies around like that? Chinese gymnast training is too intense for these young, small children. It takes away their childhood, and the Chinese method is just too much for the body to maintain. So let's think about how important it is to really think about how the method of Chinese training should be changed.